When you make the decision to rewatch the entire series of The Twilight Zone, it becomes very, very difficult to not get inspired to turn on your camera and talk about it. Today we're going to talk about one of the most famous episodes of The Twilight Zone, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. What's up, brothers and sisters? My name is Mike Kostriva. Today we're talking about the work of Rod Serling, The Twilight Zone. This is one of the most famous episodes ever in the entire series. It's called The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. When I think about this episode, the only word that comes to mind is powerful. The ending epilogue to this episode was so brilliant. Rod Serling is one of the greatest minds ever. There will never, ever be another Rod Serling. His work will go down in history, and I will remember it forever. This episode takes place in a quiet little town on this street called Maple Street. The people seem to be very normal. They seem to be living their ordinary lives. And then something happens. Lights start to go on and off. All kinds of machines like lawnmowers are turning on by themselves and nobody knows what's going on. People are freaking out. They have no idea what's causing all of this, and then the speculation begins. People start to think that there's an alien invasion happening, and that seems to be the only logical explanation. There's a little kid that actually reads comic books that says, yeah, this is the only explanation that could be happening. It's got to be an alien invasion. So people start to blame other people for it. People start to question who's a human being and who's an alien. And then neighbors turn on neighbors, friends turn on each other, chaos ensues, and the episode gets really, really deep, really, really fast. You probably already know this, but I'm about to spoil the episode for you if you haven't seen it. I highly suggest you check out the whole episode before you watch this review, but I'm going to continue on now. The dialogue in this episode is so brilliant. Rod Serling, he just knows exactly what he's doing, and the dialogue between these characters and how they turn on each other is so it's so relevant to today, and it's so beautifully done. The ending of this episode reveals that it is in fact an alien invasion, but the only thing that these aliens are doing is they're flipping on the lights, they're flipping lights on and off, and they're making machines turn on by themselves, and that's it. And the only thing that they're doing, it's revealed at the end of the episode, the only thing that they're doing is just watching the humans tear each other apart. The ending epilogue of this episode still gives me goosebumps.
The tools of conquest do not necessarily come with bombs and explosions and fallout. There are weapons that are simply thoughts, attitudes, prejudices, to be found only in the minds of men. For the record, prejudices can kill, and suspicion can destroy, and a thoughtless, frightened search for a scapegoat has a fallout all of its own, for the children and the children yet unborn. And the pity of it is that these things cannot be confined to the Twilight Zone.
Rod Serling is absolutely brilliant. I can't get enough of The Twilight Zone. It's one of the greatest television programs ever created, and this episode is the prime example of why Rod Serling was so ahead of his time. And I love it. This episode is so good and totally relevant to today. Very sad that it's still relevant to today, but you know, that's reality, man. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. Check out this episode of The Twilight Zone. It's beautiful. Rod Serling's work can never be talked about enough. Thanks for watching, you guys. Party hard. I'll see you very soon. Boom shakaloo.